Yeah, Ben, is that the lures you're going to explain? Yeah, what you got to do is, yeah.
Don't do hunting.
This might be a bass. This is a bass. It's only a matter of time before we caught a bass. And we got one. So with these gulp minnows, you can also as easily catch bass as you can bluegill. Oh, a little bit heavier of a fish right there. And then I set the hook. These are all pretty small bluegill. I was kind of hoping, oh, I just missed one there. I was talking, wasn't paying attention. Look at that. So this is what happens. If you set the hook, I just did it. I just told you not to do it and I did it. But I got the bite. He just had the tail end there. I set the hook. Hook came right out. Fish got the gulp. No fish. And if you do that a bunch, that is a terribly inefficient way of doing this. And so that's why I say wait for the weight and then set the hook. So we're gonna have to rebait. That's it. So we just kind of nick it a little bit, let it sink. There we go, somebody got it. There we go. So you can watch that line. There we go, another one. We're gonna call this one a 2-2. That's the same size fish. It might be a little bit bigger than a 2. Logan Fish-A-Lots. All right, in this challenge, we're gonna catch 10 pounds of bluegill in probably only about an hour because I got these little goobs with me. And that's gonna be part of the challenge. So making sure we're fishing, I gotta catch fish really quick, like anytime you gotta fish with little guys like that. And that's to keep their interest going so we could actually complete the challenge. And the stakes are pretty high because if I don't do that, they're gonna lose interest. Not like fishing, gonna break Johnny Fish-A-Lot's heart. And I actually like taking the kids fishing because it's all about the memories, right? The fish are secondary. Taking the goobs fishing and enjoying a beautiful day in 95-degree heat is worth it. But it's gonna be tough. It's super hot, the water's hot, water levels are low, oxygen levels are low, and it's just tough. So this is gonna be a good challenge. 10 pounds of bluegill. Let's see how we do. All right, and you notice we're not just stopping everywhere in this lake to fish, right? I got a spot in mind. I'm gonna show it to you. This is all about trying to find some cooler water, right? Some oxygenated water and some shade, honestly, where the fish are gonna wanna feed and are gonna be more apt to feed. Now, we're just coming off of a full moon. So throughout the summer, a lot of times off the full moon, these fish will move into the shallows, especially bluegill. They move onto their beds. And they pretty much will spawn intermittently throughout the entire summer. So we can go to an area with some deeper water, access to deep water, shallow water, some bluegill beds. And I'm just taking a look as I'm walking, just seeing if I can see some bluegill, see some beds. There's a bluegill bed right there. Look at all the bluegill right on the bed right there. Hopefully you can see that. And that's what we're looking for. See how they come in shallow? It's a full moon. Every full moon they come in shallow, and Ben is just massacring my fishing gear. Here's little Finn. Hi. There you go. Grandpa Fish-A-Lot. There's Ben Fish-A-Lot. Oh yeah, there you go. Oh yeah, you got the worms. Got all the gear that you threw all over the place. That's good. Yeah, this is gonna be good. So that's a 164 ounce Bobby Garland jig head, and I'm gonna pair that with just this gulp minnow. This is black shad. So I opened up the jar. I like to put in these Tupperware containers this way. So awesome gulp juice doesn't leak. So you just kind of pluck one out of there. And now the most important thing you can do with these, like I always say in these videos, is just make sure you're baiting them on straight. If you don't put this on straight, it's gonna helicopter. It's gonna be annoying. You're not gonna catch fish. And so you always just want a natural presentation of this bait. So this is exactly what we're gonna do here. These are very small baits. This is 1-inch gulp minnow here, which is actually perfect for lots of fish, not just bluegill, but you saw we just caught a crappie there a little while ago, and there you go. That is the perfect bait right there. And of course, we're going to natural color because there's some clear water here. It's plenty clear skies, clear water, clear conditions, go as natural as possible. And that is going to do just nicely. All right, now check this out. Now, I don't have many good ideas, and nobody ever accused me of being a smart man, but this is how we're going to weigh these bluegills here today, right? I got my Cast King scale right here, which actually has this M button right here as memory, so I actually don't have to write anything down. And then I got my kids' like bug catching butterfly net, and take a look at that. I don't have to hurt the fish. I don't have to grab the fish. I just put them in this very soft, meshy net and get the weight. And that's how we're going to do this. There you go.
You ready?
Yeah, first cast in there. Come here, Ben. Here, hold it. Let's switch. Here, you reel that one in. Good, this is our first bluegill for the 10-pound bluegill challenge. Keep them coming, buddy.
Look at Ben, he's got it.
Okay, right there, right there. Whoa. Oh, that's a big bluegill. Wow, that's a big bluegill. Nice job. Now you're gonna de-hook him too? Well, you are a fish a lot. There we go. So it's first cast in there.
Okay.
Okay, there you go. You want to pet him? There, oh, be careful. Just pet him there. There you go. Yeah, see, they're spiny. You don't want to get poked. Now these big bluegill, I mean, when they're the size of your hand like that, that's a big bluegill. All right, ready? Let's weigh him. All right, let's see here. This is our first weight of our challenge. Let's see how this works. We're gonna place him into the net. And that fish weighs 4 ounces. All right, so there you go, 4 ounces. So that's our first one. We got a long way to go. All right, so here's our first bluegill, and just gonna flip him in. Boop. And off he goes. Hey, you remember how to cast? Come here, bud. Okay, ready? Click the bail like that. Go grab it. Okay, bring it over your head like that. Cast.
Cast.
Whoa, nice job. That was a good cast right there. All right, now watch that bobber, okay? When the bobber moves, you got a fishy, okay? If I get another one, I'll let you reel it in. I'm surprised they didn't hit the bobber. So I only have an hour. Oh, there was one. So I only have an hour, so this is going to be a tough challenge. Oh, there you go, Ben. There you go. Catch him. Oh, you missed him. Okay. Yeah, you missed it. That's okay. We'll get him again.
Oh, no.
That's all right. That's part of fishing, buddy. Look at it. Reel it in. That's all part of fishing, you fishies. You tricky fishies. Okay, ready? We're going to cast it back out, okay? Those tricky fish. I actually had one, too. So we got one off the start. And then, here you go, Ben.
Here you go, Ben. You're all set.
Here you go, buddy. Oh, you got some water? Now, let's see if we can trigger one here. You're doing all right there, Finn? There we go. Kids are already getting hot. We've only been here 2 minutes. We got 4 ounces on the board out of 10 pounds right now. It's not looking good. There you go, buddy. When that goes under the water, okay, you got to pay attention to it. Oh, just like that. See it going under? Oh, we caught a great. So notice I'm not trying to fish right over the water here because I don't want to give the fish this huge shadow so that they know we're here. But with the kids, I'm pretty sure the fish know we're here anyway. Yeah, tangle's definitely a part of fishing. Definitely part of taking kids fishing. So let's try it again. All right, buddy, here you go. Now remember, watch that green bobber. When that goes down, when the fish pulls, Ben, you pull. That's the rule. When the fish pulls, you pull. See, now for kids fishing here, bite indication is key, right? Because they're not going to have the kind of patience to work a bait. There you go. I got one right there. There he goes. There we go. There you go, Ben. Where's this little, all right, little crappie. It's not the target species. Maybe I should weigh this fish anyway. Just because. Here you go, Ben. I got a little crappie. See that? Yeah. You know what? Maybe we'll change the challenge to a panfish challenge. You want to pet the fishy? Yeah, nice job. Oh, is he slimy?
Yeah.
Good. You pet him too? Little crappie. Yeah, okay. Say bye-bye, Mr. Fishy.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. There he goes. All right, Ben. Reel it in a little bit, buddy. Whew, it's hot. All right, just let it sit right there, bud. The kids are not going to last long. Uh-oh, Ben. Look at... There you go. Take a look at that bobber. Now, the key here is we're using 2-pound test line on both lines, and it's to watch that line. When the lures fall and they just stop falling and you know you're at some depth, that's a fish. 2-pound test line is going to allow you to feel some really subtle bites. And these fish are not active. It is hot. It's the middle of the day, which is the worst time to fish for them, but best time for kids. So that's why I'm here. We've been here like 5 minutes. 2-year-old's crying. 6-year-old's trying to push her. 5 more minutes. What am I, nuts? I am nuts. Bringing 2 kids fishing and trying to do a challenge for YouTube at the same time. I am nuts.
Are you nuts? Is that what you
Yeah,
said?
yeah. My nuts. Oh, that was a good take right there. See, Ben, that's what happened. See, I wasn't paying attention. I got a fish trying to eat my lure, which I can't catch because I got a 2-year-old crying and a 6-year-old yelling at me. There you go, Ben. Ben, you got one. You weren't even trying. Here, reel him in.
Yes.
Reel him in. But, you know, with the right kind of techniques like that, you can still catch some fish. There you go. Nice little bluegill, Ben. Nice job. You caught that one all by yourself. That one is small. All right, so there's Ben's fish right there, bud. You want to pat him?
Fish.
This fish came out 1 ounce right here. The GoPro keeps overheating and dying, but we're up to 5 ounces in 5 minutes and 2 crying kids. So, all right, let's see how we do it now. Nice job. See how you watch the bobber and then you catch the fish. All right, let's go. Let's rebait. All right, so we figured out the pattern here. There's another one here. I didn't even have time to hand it to my son. Oh boy, look how deep he got that gulp bait down there. Wow. He really took that down for such a small fish. All right, so that's gonna be pliers. There we go. So we're gonna give that another 1. Oh, he got me. All right, so there's another one on the board. So here's something else, like when the fish start ripping up your gulp like that, it's perfectly fine to just rip the head off right there. I mean, it's gonna work just great. So rip it in half, that doubles the life of your gulp baits. And you know, there's a 164-ounce Bobby Garland jig head right there, see? So still on there straight, and this will work just fine as well. Okay, there you go. So the GoPro keeps overheating, so you're gonna throw this one back, another 1 ouncer. So I think we're up to 7 ounces or so in our challenge, and Ben is just covered in sweat. Finn is just all red in the face, and Johnny Fish-a-lot is already sweating half to death. So let's see how good we do here. Okay, now we move the kids over to the shade where they're destroying the forest, just like kids. But another good point here is, again, when that bait starts getting tore up by those bluegills, just rip it in half and put that 164-ounce Bobby Garland jig head through it, and you'll get double the life expectancy out of your gulp baits, because they're super expensive, so why not get as much as you can out of it. And that just caught that last fish right there. Now again, we're fishing with 2-pound monofilament Trout SOS line, a 164-ounce Bobby Garland jig head, my favorite St. Croix Panfish Series rod, and an Okuma Seamar 10 ultralight fishing reel. Great combo for ultralight fishing in these fish. And the reason why I'm doing this is for that sensitivity. There you go, and there's the bait right there. Just a 164-ounce Bobby Garland jig head with a 1-inch gulp bait right there. And I'm going natural colors. This is actually clear water, a lot of sunshine. This is, just want to go natural here. So usually my color presentations are something really bright, something like a chartreuse, or a white, something dark like black, and then something natural like this swimming gulp here. I think this is called silver side. I gotta look it up. I don't remember the exact color, what it's called on gulp. Oh, there you go, there's a bite. See, and there's the bite indication you're looking for, and you just gotta watch your line. I missed him. But that's it. You see just that one little tap. These fish aren't super aggressive, and I saw my line moving, and that's when you set the hook. Now, I just created the cardinal sin right there. I set the hook on the bite and not on the weight of the fish. You should always set the hook on the weight of the fish, even ultralight fishing. And now I'm casting into the transition here of shallow to deep water. So as hot as it is today and the full moon, these fish are gonna move up into the shallows like we saw. But I'm also gonna rely on these fish. Oh, there's some weight there. There we go. So you set the hook on the weight, not on the fish. And that is a baby. That's a baby. We're not gonna weigh him. We're gonna call this 1 ounce. So the default here, if we catch a really small fish, I'm gonna call them 1 ounces. There you go. Quick little bluegill there. Throw him back. We're looking for some bigger ones for this challenge. Oh, there he goes. There's a fish right there, possibly. And Ben just told me that it's too hot so soon into the challenge. We've only been here like 10 minutes or so. And like I said, it was going to be a challenge with the kiddos. So maybe I'll take them back, drop them off, and I'll see if I can, with some concentration, maybe get a little bit more fish action here. And this GoPro just keeps overheating. It's 96 degrees now, last time I checked. Got a nice little bluegill right here. Look at that pretty fish. There you go, Ben. You want to pet that one too? Oh, my pants fell down. There we go. You want to pet that one? There we go. We're not going to weigh him because the kids are getting tired. Hey, Ben, are you too hot? Is it too hot outside?
It's too hot outside. I need need to go to the home. They home.
It's too hot outside, so we need to go home. Okay, I'm gonna drop you guys off home. Did you have fun fishing though? Oh yeah, you have fun fishing? Here, talk to the guys at YouTube. Talk to everybody on YouTube. Did you have fun fishing? There's Finn. The 2-year-old is not as happy as the 6-year-old. Yeah, the 2-year-old might be overheated. So for safety, see, she's standing under the shade there. Ben's still going though, talking to the YouTube Fish-A-Lot faithful out there. All right, guys, let's okay, let's go on, buddy. Okay, it's a little hot out. Yeah, let's start. Okay, all right, let's get you guys back. It's too hot. Finn, did you have a good time? Oh, look at those red cheeks. Oh my gosh, mommy's gonna be so mad at daddy.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully she doesn't watch YouTube, the YouTube channel, which I know she doesn't. Yeah, Ben, did you have a good time fishing? Yeah, you did have a good time fishing? You caught some fish, bud. Yeah, you caught 2 all on your own. That's really good. My goodness, it is hot. It's about 96 degrees today. I inadvertently almost gave my 2-year-old heat stroke, so I had to bring her back. Now we're back to the same spot here, but notice I'm not walking right up to that concrete. These fish had about a 20-minute break or so, and now we're back to fishing it. I don't want to just walk right up and put a 6-7 foot shadow up there. So this is how we're gonna work it. Now again, same exact technique, just kind of letting it fall, letting it do its thing. And these fish are gonna be so lethargic. No doubt about it. And there's a lot of grime and look at that, a lot of nastiness in the water. Again, this is probably one of the toughest times of the year to fish and catch fish, just because it's so hot, and these fish are feeling it. Now, I like to relate everything back to fish, including my kids and your kids. So basically, if it's too hot for the kids, okay, and they're getting exhausted by the heat, the fish are gonna do the exact same thing. They're gonna be feeling this heat, they're gonna become lethargic, just like my kids became. And only the truly stubborn fish, like Johnny Fish-A-Lot, is gonna stay out here in this 96 degree heat and still try to do this 10-pound bluegill challenge. We're gonna give a good go of it here. There we go. Oh, sunny in the bush. All right. All right, let's see what the weight is here for a bluegill. 3 ounces. All right, so there's 3 ounces on the board. Now, with the wind that picked up a little bit, what I wanna do is I actually wanna cast into the wind. Okay, with that wind picking up, you want that bait to come with the wind, because that is a natural presentation of your baits right here. There you go, see that bite right there? Line's moving, set the hook. Now you got a fish. Oh, pretty one. Look how pretty this guy is. There we go, another 3 ouncer there. At this rate, we can make up some ground with the kiddos pretty quick. There we go, nice beautiful little fish. We're just gonna flip him on out. There he goes. All right, now the key here is not to set the hook on bites, but to set the hook on the weight of the fish. So I'm getting a lot of nibbles, a lot of fish swiping at it. There he goes. And then when you feel the weight of the fish, just like I did there, that's when you set the hook. And that is a perfect, I love when a plan comes together. There's a perfect example of how that actually works. Another beautiful little, probably another 3 ounce-ish, sunny, perfect hook set right through the roof of the mouth right there. The great thing about bluegill fishing is you could actually catch a good amount of these fish when you find them and you get them going. Now to find them, I just showed you that trick right there. Let's see how much he weighs. There we go, another 3 ouncer. So that's good. I don't know how you guys in Alabama deal with this heat all the time. Now I got a bite right there. Again, not setting the hook on the bite. So he's just pecking at it. I'm gonna actually try to entice the bite here a little bit. There we go, got him. See, I didn't overdo it there with the hook set or anything. Just waited for him to get that bait down there. Was able to got him probably about another 2 or 3 ouncer right here. All right, 3 ounces again. All right, there we go, get him back. Whoop. All right, off he goes. So I just caught a fish and realized I wasn't recording because I'm terrible at filming. Pretty good at fishing, terrible at filming. So I got one, it was 1.5. Not like that's gonna make or break this challenge. I'm way behind, but we're gonna continue what we're doing and just cast into the wind. I'm kind of moving that bait around, trying to get them to bite. The thing with bluegill is once you get them going, they will feed pretty good once you get them kind of competing for food a little bit, like that. There's another one right there. That might be a 2-ouncer, 3 maybe? Yeah, it's about a 3 again. There we go, another 3. So I'll take the 3s. These gulp minnows are just so effective pretty much year round. I have much better luck with them in the summertime because they do tend to sink. They are lower in drag and diameter. Those crappie magnets fall a lot slower, so I use them in colder water temperatures where I'm not really looking for reaction bites. But hey, we may go to a crappie magnet to try to get some bigger fish. But you know, this has more like a dying type of minnow to it, especially in this heat. It's triggering a lot of bites. That actually has been working out for us. It's a little bit bigger of a fish. You can see I just kind of darted around a little bit. I'm always watching that line. That is key. Always feeling for the fish, just like that. That fish, you can barely feel it. You just watch the line go. And off he went. Let's get him up. That's a good one right there. That could help the overall weight for sure. There we go, 5 ounces. That one was a little bit bigger. That one's 5 ounces. I'll take that. It's a bigger fish. That's what we're looking for. 5-6 ounce fish. Those are good. Those will work out just fine. Off he goes. All right, and here once again, you know, this spot is really good. You see, this is like a drainage area for this water right here, flows into here, and that is water movement, and that's what attracted me to this spot, as well as a tree line over here heading on the lake. You see a little bit of shade there. That is super important. And then, of course, there's beds on either side of the structure because you have hard structure, this concrete. You can see some rocks in there, some hard stuff, and that's adjacent to like sand and pea gravel that they put in this little pond right here. And that is really the ticket for these fish. Now, as I mentioned before, last night was the full moon, and these fish will move up on beds when you have full moons throughout the summertime. So a lot of people think that fish spawn out and then they're done. That is not the case. Fish spawn at different times. Not all fish spawn at the same time. So when you have a blue moon, it's a good ticket that you can find these bluegill up shallow. And this is shallow. I'm fishing shallow into some deeper water. So some of those fish that are kind of just in and about the beds, I'm still targeting right here. Like this guy who's nibbling on my lure. There's a lot of small fish though here. So I may actually, let me flip over here. I may actually make a move into a shadier part of the lake if I don't catch a bigger fish. There we go, there's one. Oh, that's a bigger fish. I don't think that's a bluegill. That is not, that's a crappie. We may change this into the panfish challenge if I really struggle. So that crappie came off that bluegill bed too. And the reason why they're coming off that bluegill bed, of course, is because they eat those smaller fish. Good little addition to our catch. Let me weigh him anyway, just in case I want to cheat here a little bit. This is a bluegill challenge. Let's see what our crappie gets us here. I can't fit in the net. Let's see, there we go, zero it out. Put the weight on, 5. So this one's a 5er. Crappie will be all right, there you go. Nice little panfish there. And off he goes, all right. I only got about an hour here to fish. I'm about halfway through or so, or maybe not, maybe just 15 minutes. It feels like I've been here for an eternity because it's so ungodly hot. But you know, I only got about an hour before my wife calls, says, time to eat, time to get the kids ready for bed and all that stuff. There's another one right there. Oh no, I missed them. Man, these missed fish are gonna cost me at the end of this challenge. These fish are, how soft they're biting. I mean, that is not a big bait. That's a 1-inch gulp. And those fish are just kind of really lazily just grabbing the ends of it. There you go, that's how you do it. I am not gonna weigh this fish. We're gonna call this a 1. Look at that little guy. We're just gonna call this a 1. Get him back as soon as possible. All right, it should be all right. Go, off he swims, there you go. So we're just gonna call that a 1. There you go, so that's your straight bait hooked up right there. And then what you do is this bait's a little bit wore out, so we're just gonna recharge it. You see, that's a recharge right here. We use this at fluke fishing all the time. You could take ocean water tactics right here, or saltwater tactics, and apply it to freshwater tactics applied to saltwater, right? That's what this channel is all about. There's a fishing fundamentals to catch your fish anywhere. If I'm catching bluegill, well, you can bet the tips I'm sharing you apply to other fish, bass, striper, fluke, whatever. You know, presenting your baits with the wind, finding the right spots. This is all how we catch every fish we fish for. And that's a neat little trick right there. So I basically have a new bait and I'm not wasting any gulp, and it's a shorter, smaller bait that potentially is going to catch me a little bit more fish. So we're going to see how long I could get out of that gulp bait. You can see that lure and the water is acting perfectly fine. Now there's 2 bluegill beds here. There's one here, adjacent side either one of this hard structure. So you got some hard structure that leads into, you know, it's got rock, concrete, some shells I could see in there. I don't know where that's from exactly, but some shells, and that leads, there we go. There we go. As I'm talking to you about the structure, I got one. And that leads into those bluegill beds, and these fish, a lot of the bigger ones are on the transition. That's what I figured out. So the smaller ones are up real shallow in the beds. These ones are on that transition between the shallow and the deep water. So another weight incoming. This one looks like another 3 or a 4. Yep, another 4. I'll take it. I'll take those 4s and 5s. That's what we need for the challenge here. So we're gonna flip him back in there. There you go, buddy. There he goes, off he goes. See that line jumping around right there? That's a bluegill. Now I can't feel that at all. I'm gonna try and jig it up here. Maybe trigger a bite. So you can't really feel that sometimes, but what you do is you watch that line, and when that line's supposed to be falling and it stops, or when the line jumps, that's when you know I have a fish. Of course, if the line takes off, there we go, see? That's a bigger one too right there. On that transition, that's where these fish are hitting. Now, again, you couldn't see that fish, but you saw it bounce right there. That's how you caught him. There you go, 4. Another 4. There you go, another nice bluegill on that half a gulp in that transition. Those 4 ounces, 4 and 5 ounces I'll take. Those are some nicer fish. Definitely help me out for the challenge. Now, do I have 10 pounds worth of fish? Probably not. And we're kind of coming close to the end of this challenge, both because I'm about to die of heat exhaustion, and also I got to get the kids. Oh, there's a line bouncing again. You see now that line's bouncing. That fish has got it, and I set the hook, and that's how you catch the fish. So you see the line bouncing, and that's when you know that fish is on there. Yet again, we're going to call these little ones a 1. So, whoop, there he goes. Perfectly fine. But again, let's try this transition again. I am going to make a move now, though. It's getting late in the challenge. I don't think I have enough fish to make my quota here. So I am going to throw a Hail Mary, go to a shaded spot, also with some deep water with shallow water around it. There's a better fish there, I think. Either a better fish or a feistier fish. Maybe feistier. How much we got? 2. All right, so we got a 2 ouncer. All right, little tiny fish off that bed. We're not gonna weigh him either. We're gonna call this a 1. There we go. Look at that little baby guy. There we go. There we go. A little bit bigger fish. I'll take it. All right, let's see what we got here. There you go, a 4. I'll take a 4. That's good. All right, so now we're making a move here. This is the Hail Mary. We haven't caught quite the size of bluegill I was hoping for. Caught a lot of fish, so, you know, the video is still valid. You want to catch a lot of fish quickly because you're limited on time. You're fishing with kids. It's 100,000 degrees out, and, you know, you're not built for that type of heat or whatever the case might be. Yeah, it's a quick way to catch a lot of bluegill fast. So the Hail Mary attempt here is going to be, see those big trees on the other end of the lake? We're going to fish under those trees. Hopefully those bigger fish will seek some shade and want a little bit of relief from this blazing sun here. Now notice I'm not fishing every part of the lake, like every nook and cranny like that across the lake. That's just totally inefficient way to pond fish. It's typically why people think pond fishing is so easy, is just because they can walk around the lake. But, you know, always have your spots in mind. Always have a plan A. That's, you know, how you should approach big bodies of water, even smaller bodies of water. And yeah, you know, a big misconception is that pond fish are easy to catch, and that is not true because there's just not a lot of water in here. So they are totally subject to the environmental changes. They really don't have many places to hide or to go. And so that is why actually pond fishing can be some of the most challenging fishing around, right? It's not like you have a huge lake and you have a lot of deep water to choose from or anything like that. I mean, this is some pretty shallow water throughout this lake, and that's where we're fishing. Oh my gosh, I'm so hot. All right, so I moved spots all the way across the lake. I didn't fish any pieces in between. I want to efficiently cover this water and catch as much fish as possible because I'm limited on time. And here's a huge tree over my head giving me a little bit of shade here, and I'm hoping those fish are going to search for shade themselves. Again, same concept here. There's some deep water right here, but in each one of these corners is bluegill beds. There we go. There's a bluegill. Plan comes together right there. Not quite the size we're looking for, but first cast, that was right on par. That was on the money. This is why we made this switch here. So let me get him a weight. He's going to be about a 2-ounce fish here. Yep, that's a 2. That's pretty much exactly what I thought he was going to be. Again, always check your bait, always check your line. So here we go. Our gulp got all sorts of mashed up there. Just slide it back over. Make sure that bait is perfectly straight. All right, now let's see if we can catch some bigger fish. So again, there's a deep pocket here, okay? And then there's some shallow water on each end. There we go, somebody got it. There we go. So you can watch that line. There we go, another one. We're gonna call this one a 2-2. That's the same size fish. It might be a little bit bigger than a 2. There we go. So actually we're gonna call that a 2, just for time's sake. That might be a little bit bigger. We'll call him a 2. Get him back on in there. Now, if we could get them chewing. All right, ready to go. Let's. So the shade might be the ticket. This bite is way more aggressive. There we go, another one. So the move paid off. This is a little guy. We're gonna call him a, let's weigh him. Oh, look at that, he's a 2. See, I would have jinxed myself out of a, there he goes, just flip him. I would have jinxed myself out of an ounce. So we're underneath this big tree, and this bite is far more aggressive than the bite we had before. And even those little fish are getting the bait, whereas before they're just kind of grabbing the end. There we go, another one. Oh, a crappie. I think we should do the panfish challenge here because I'm struggling so bad. There we go, a crappie. This is now fish after fish. Come here, bud. Stick him in the net. All right, a 5er. So now, taking lessons from your previous spots here, right? I noticed that on the transition point between the deep, there we go. Man, can't even get that lure in there. Another bluegill. Another nice one, probably 3. Hit the water, bluegill on. Maybe not quite a 3. Bluegill, waiting our chart. Stick them on in there. A 4, a 5, 4.5. Good one. That's a good one. Oh, what do we got here? A bluegill hit that right on the surface. He came up and hit it like a bass. I thought it was a bass at first. It was this little bluegill. That's the difference between that super aggressive bite where we are currently and that very lethargic hot fish bite before. And this fish just smoked that little gulp minnow. 2.5. All right, we'll take it. And all right, so now that point I was trying to make before that fish so rudely interrupted me is always pay attention to how you trigger bites. So before, when those fish were a little bit lethargic because we were just baking in the sun, we were still triggering bites from a transition zone from these bluegill beds. Right here along the bank is a nice bluegill bed, and out here is some deeper water. And we're casting on that transition of the deeper water, and that's where we're catching all our fish. And that's where we're catching all the fish even in the sun, only here they're more aggressive because it's cooler. And of course, we're catching some bigger fish, which is exactly why I wanted to make this move. And again, I didn't waste time. I just missed one. And again, I didn't waste time by fishing everywhere across the lake, walking around the whole lake. I just, you know the spots. I know I need to fish a transition zone. There's a bluegill bed right here. That's where I'm fishing, the bluegill, shallow water bluegill bed. We had that full moon into the transition. And that's how they were biting before. There we go. And that is a bigger fish, much bigger fish. Look at that. This might be a bass. This is a bass. It was only a matter of time before we caught a bass. And we got one. There we go. Well, we got the trifecta. We got the bass, we got the crappie, and we got the bluegills. So there you go, bass absolutely love these baits too. There's another bass out there, see him swirling around. If you think about it, on big lakes and river systems when the water is really warm, how hard it is to trigger a bite. Well, a pond is even worse. Keep in mind, the deepest part of this lake is probably like 6 foot, and that's deep for a lake like this. So these fish literally got nowhere to go to hide away from the elements and away from the sun, heat, cold. So pond fishing can be really hard. And a lot of people don't give pond fishermen enough credit, but it is hot, It is nasty, and we still have to figure out these fish, which we're doing right there as we catch one. Again, right on that transition into the deeper water. Bluegill bed into deeper water. Catch yourself a bluegill. That's gonna be another 2.5. Yep, 2.5 right there. And these bluegill are not that easy to catch right now. They're hot. Of course, I'm fishing in the middle of the day because this is the only time I have. If I were smart, I'd fish at night, early in the morning, or later in the day when it's cooler. But I have kids, so there we go, another one. Again, right in that transition. Love it. I was just telling you, I just saw fish swimming from point A to point B in that transition, and this fish ate it. My goodness. There we go. See, the bed in the deeper water gets you the bluegill beds. All right, nice little bluegill there. That'll help us out. That'll help the cause for sure. Oh, if I can grab them. 2.5. Drop the fish in the grass. I don't like dropping the fish in the grass, but 2.5. All right, our final gulp countdown. Again, I'm gonna fish that a little bit deeper water on that transition there. There's the bluegill bed right here. That's where I'm fishing in that transition. A lot of aggressive fish there, like that one. Oh man, he took the gulp. All right, fish a lot. So that was a final gulp in our gulp challenge there. Heading back, we'll tally up the scores here, see how I did. I don't know, it was super hot today. What a grueling day. The fish were hot. Johnny Fish Lot was hot. My kids were certainly hot. But those tips and tricks could really help out, especially on a tough summer day. August is one of the toughest months of the year to catch fish. And hopefully these tips really helped you out on how you can hone in on some fish with some tactics and with some spot locations that could really help you just get on fish, get in the heat, get out of the heat, whatever you need to do.